NP Armageddon.
National Post-Apocalyptic Radio.
Starring Fred Willard.
How cool is that?
John Delancey.
It's a total parking lot out there.
Jello Biafra.
All you need is a thirst for adventure.
Tay Zonde.
Thank you.
Andrew Bowser.
A funny thing happened on the way to world domination.
Erika Ishii.
Nothing brightens your day quite like hard drugs.
Harlan Ellison.
This is outrageous.
And many more.
NP Armageddon.
Have either of you fellows heard of a place called the White Lodge?
Cooper, you may be fearless in this world, but there are other worlds. My people believe that the White Lodge is a place where the spirits that rule man and nature here reside. There is also a legend of a place called the Black Lodge, the shadow self of the White Lodge. The legend says that every spirit must have passed through there on the way to perfection. There, you will meet your own shadow self. But it is said, if you confront the Black Lodge with imperfect courage, it will utterly annihilate your soul.
Shall we play a game?
Hi, this is Lucifer Bob, and welcome back. We have an interview with Randy Elwin in just a little bit. And before we do all that, we're going to queue up a little vid. So stay with us. Check out this little small montage from the Pinball Collector. And yeah, so let me just cue that up, and we'll get rolling. And away we go.
In a hideaway in the Chicago suburb of Skokie, Illinois, confiscated pinball machines finally take the rap. They dished it out plenty, but they can't take it. The funeral pyre is all set, but where are the mourners? And here are the fireworks. Well, guess the boys will have to go back to Penny Ante.
Celebrate a century of progress of technological innovation at the Chicago World's Fair. After visiting the administration building, you'll gaze in amazement at the wonders in the Hall of Science. Learn all about the U.S. government, then discover the latest in transportation and travel. Afterwards, take a relaxing sky ride over the lagoon while taking in the breathtaking panoramic sights of the fair. And don't forget to play pinball when visiting the arcade.
With 70,000 made, the Rockola World's Fair Jigsaw holds the record for the highest production number pinball game. And rightly so, as its purely mechanical operation mesmerized millions of fairgoers trying to complete the elusive puzzle of the 1933 Chicago World's Fair. Dropping a ball in one of the scoring holes completes a part of the ingenious mechanical puzzle. The inventor, David Rockola, knew he had a hit game and protected against copycats with patents. Jigsaw faithfully leads the various attractions such as the Hall of Science, Travel and Transportation, and even the Federal Building is detailed to the point of paying taxes. Despite the numerous scoring holes, completing Jigsaw's puzzle is deceptively difficult. With a fine maple and walnut cabinet, the 1934 Gottlieb merry-go-round looks as good as it plays, and is quite rare today with only 5 known specimens. The carousel-inspired aluminum rotodiscs highlight the golden Bakelite playfield. While the discs are mechanically actuated, a battery powers the buzzing bell. You have to get at least 6 balls in the bottom score pocket to have a chance at winning. Go easy. If the operator sees the ball off the tilt pedestal, you won't get paid. This shot looks decent, yet it's not enough to win. So drop your coin and go for another whirl.
Everybody tries it. Give it a whirl. You might win candy for your girl.
Experience the thrill of the hunt when you drop your nickels into the 1934 Jennings Sportsman. The Sportsman payout game combines pinball with a slot machine-style payout. Although advertised as a game of skill, making a winning combination takes a bit of luck. A slot machine-like handle actuates the payout. Local laws often dictated payouts in tokens instead of nickels. Inside the game, you'll find the ball collection tray underneath the large metal slide and payout switches. This game has the look and feel of a Jennings slot machine, complete with fine aluminum castings and finished woodwork. Story has it local police converted the legs into billy clubs whenever they confiscated one of these games. Jennings' fine craftsmanship extends to the electromechanical tilt mechanism, which locks the payout until inserting another coin. These operator adjustable caps improve your chances of winning, but not by much. This skill shot must be made before any payouts are awarded. The operator's manual claims a skilled player averages a 50% payout. However, in practice, the average player rarely receives a payout. Playing this old gambling machine gives the impression of some shot control, but in reality, it has been carefully engineered to take your nickels. The mirrored back glass highlights Roy Parker's artwork on Gottlieb's 1940 Border Town. Featuring a multiple rollover derrick, striking oil is the goal. A randomizer score feature keeps the excitement flowing, as if the herd of beautiful Parker cowgirls isn't enough. The gals practice for the rodeo, while the dudes work on the pipeline. Nobody minds the industrial-looking Derek Forrest, as there's money to be made sucking black gold out of the ground. There's at least 6 ways to win, but all are challenging, as with any flipperless game. Here's a peek at the randomizer wheel and chime, each luring prospective wildcatters into sinking their nickels into this fun and attractive game. Yes, it's good to be the king, especially if your court consists of bikini-clad babes. Even better if your game has flippers. Touted by Gottlieb as the greatest triumph in pin game history, the 1947 Humpty Dumpty did indeed add ball control to pinball, starting the game of skill revolution. While not the first game with a movable bat, Humpty Dumpty is the first pinball game made with electromechanically operated flippers. The Harry Mabs design added 2 sets of 3 flippers on opposite sides of the game, giving players unprecedented control. The animated Roy Parker artwork adds an adult twist to the fairy tale theme. Although the scoring and gameplay is rather simple, Humpty Dumpty instantly created the distinction between flipper and flipperless games, rendering the latter obsolete by the end of 1947.
Misses him with a wild right. Again, McSwat rips the left to the body.
Cartoonish violence and mayhem comprise the backdrop for one of the most popular playfield animations ever made in Gottlieb's 1950 Knockout. Featuring pinball's first and only bloody-nose playfield, Roy Parker's artwork captures the violence of boxing, while simultaneously poking fun at it and boxing fans. With its wide-open playfield and wide-set flippers, Knockout forces players to rely on the center blocking gate to avoid losing the ball. This switch by the ball launch gate sets the flipper blocking gate. The main attraction is the animated boxing ring. Scoring enough knockdowns lights the specials. The clever back glass light scoring highlights individual battles amongst fans, while playfield details depict boxing shenanigans. All this havoc leaves the solitary Parker cigarette babe quite lonely. Knockout, a good fight, but won't leave you bloody.
going to the front. Clubhouse turn. It's Gennaro and Lightning Boy got through on the rail and is now fifth. It's Gennaro, Lightning Boy. Mike is the winner, Lightning Boy.
Capture the fun and excitement of horse racing with the 1951 Williams Spark Plugs. George Millington's zany artwork adds to the fun, while the Harry Williams design simultaneously delights and frustrates. The game's objective is simple. Have your selected horses win, place, and show.
Closely bunched, the 9 thoroughbreds show their liking for today's track, which is dry and fast, no matter how you look at it.
However, just like real horse racing, picking the winner is a challenge, as hitting the correct lane and bumper advances your horse. Changing your horse selections requires a bit of judicial nudging.
Ravenson takes the lead, faultless edges up, and the tension mounts.
And the randomizer usually won't select a combination in your favor. Your odds of a big win are pretty small, but wishing for a better payout is just beating a dead horse.
And Phalanx. Class is beginning to tell, and Phalanx, the disappointing season-long favorite, at long last moves out to take command. His loss of the
Spark Plugs is one of the few games that may finish without using all 5 balls. No matter, because with pinball, all you need is one good ball to put you in the winner's circle.
For the pair of champions who hit the jackpot by winning the season's greatest race.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
The officers tell us they picked you up near First and Wall. Is that right?
That's what they say.
You mind telling us what you were doing down there?
I went down to meet a friend.
With a gun?
Advertised as a super-duper thriller, Gottlieb's 1954 Dragonette spoofs the name of the popular TV show of the day, Dragnet. Dragonette features 5 capture holes and a large lower triangular bumper, making for challenging rebounds in a large open playfield. However, captured balls create new obstacles and start interfering with your shots. You'll need a lot of luck to capture all 5 balls. The main appeal of Dragonette is Roy Parker's comic artwork making pop references, not only to Dragnet, but also Sherlock Holmes,
The door was open. Anglo-American relations.
and a popular line from an old vaudeville act that became a hit song in 1947. Even the title is similar to Stan Freberg's hit 1953 parody, St. George and the Dragonette, which also gives us the catchphrase, "I just want to get the facts, ma'am." However, the purpose of the French sailor and the frilly robe-wearing private eye remain unsolved mysteries. Regardless if you like the fast action or the clever artwork, you now have all the facts on Dragonette.
Today, a new moon is in the sky, a 23-inch metal sphere placed in orbit by a Russian rocket, a 3-stage rocket. The smaller second stage took over at 5,000 miles an hour and carried on to the highest point reached. The artificial moon is boosted and released.
At Cape Canaveral, 2 tiny astronauts, Monkeys Abel and Baker, are readied for the first flight into outer space and safe return of Earth flight. The rhesus monkey and the much smaller squirrel monkey are secured in separate capsules in the nose cone of a Jupiter missile. 1,700 ground miles later, the capsule is fished from the waters of the Caribbean. The recovery is made by the Navy tug Kiowa. The cone itself is in good shape after the fiery plunge through space. Practically unharmed and in jolly good spirits, the first creatures from outer space in all history. The space monkeys meet the press at the headquarters of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration in Washington. They brought back the best evidence yet that humans can function and survive in outer space.
Capturing the excitement of the early space race, the 1958 Williams satellite portrays a monkey sealed in a Sputnik orbiting the Earth. George Milleton stretched artistic license as Sputnik never carried a monkey, yet it makes a fun theme. The goal of this Harry Williams design is straightforward. Orbit the Earth a few times to light specials. The powerful flippers make for a fast game and require quick reactions when hitting the center target. And don't get sucked down a gobble hole unless it's special. After game over, check your lucky star for a match replay. Celebrate the rocket age with Gottlieb's 1958 rocket ship. Optimistic folks in 1958 figured that everyday rocket travel was just around the corner. Advertised as a two-stage playfield with booster flippers adding additional kick, Rocket Ship improves gameplay with additional flippers up top. These flippers enable shots behind the large center roto-target. Hitting the roto-target requires a square hit, made easier from a cradled ball. Roy Parker's artwork, inspired by popular space-themed TV shows of the day, pokes fun at the glamour anticipated of space travel. Lit rocket ship letters carry over from game to game. Hitting roto-targets spots letters as well as earns points. Complete all letters to light specials. Remember to keep your hands inside the spaceship, especially when flying near gobble holes. And missing your target may cause an early re-entry through the outline. Big oil, big freeways, and big fins on big cars drive Williams' 1958 Gusher straight into your game room. With its beautiful gold playfield highlighting pools of oily black gold, Gusher's biggest attraction pops up right in your face, Pinball's first retractable bumper. This novelty is the central target of Gusher's symmetric playfield layout. ball with Williams' high voltage, energetic flippers keeps the action flowing. There's plenty of targets, kickers, and bumpers to keep that ball moving. However, this alluring mechanical marvel is pure nickel bait. Williams' patent protected the retractable design so well that this feature wasn't seen again for almost 40 years. A plunger skill shot drops the bumper, then try for all 12 targets to light gobble hole specials. This driver in front of the huge fins of George Moletton's inventive combination Packard Cadillac convertible looks familiar. Are those his relatives on Spot Pool? Gusher is one of the best Harry Williams designs and set the gold standard for Williams pinball in the late 1950s.
Alright, that's about it. I'm wrapping up with the credits. Bring myself back. Alright, I'm gonna get with Randy and have him come back and switch monitors. Oh, he is back. Awesome. Right on. Here, let me just get your monitor up here. Why can I never find what I need? There we go. And we're gonna switch to. Here we go. There we are. How are you doing? So yeah, that was cool. Some beautiful tables. Now I know what I want for Christmas stream. Do you hear me? That's it. You just let me. I'll P.O. box straight to Lucifer Bob. I'll take the wooden ones. Any of them would be fine. Beggars can't be choosers.
Yes. Those wood rails, they were in the middle of Chicago furniture industry. So there's a lot of woodworkers back then knew what they were doing. And it was just, you make use of the local talent materials.
Right.
And, but I mean, if you follow the progression of the old games, the actual DVD has, I think, some older items on it.
Oh shit! But... Hold on 1 second. 1 second. I've clicked on the wrong thing. My bad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, now I'm gone.
You're back.
There we go. All right. I mean, yeah, you got to know your roots.
Right.
All the old pinball stuff. So, obviously, they were gambling devices. You look at the old bagatelles or whatever, then the like baffle ball, the popular ones where they're just pins on a table and you roll a marble down and where it lands. And they were meant for bars, and you can gamble against your friends, and, make bar bets. People probably hung out at bars more back in those days.
Yeah, right.
And you go for like that Jennings table. Well, Jennings made slot machines very popular back in the 30s.
Okay.
And when the table is open, you see that mechanism. If you ever seen inside of that vintage of a slot machine, that's probably where it came from.
Sure. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. So I guess it was totally justified to call them gambling devices because they kind of were. Maybe a little aim in low, but still.
Yeah.
Small potatoes.
And the opening credits, the opening scene where they're throwing games in a pit, I think those were bingo machines.
Okay, we were wondering that. We were like, oh my god.
Yeah, those are a little different, and they're a little harder to find these days, and possibly because they're about 300 pounds.
Oh, whoa.
All the mechanicals are very complicated, but I don't cover any bingo machines in this this vid.
Right.
You can find information online.
Yeah.
But you see progression like the 30s. There's still these tables like that World Fair. They made 70,000 of those.
That's a hell of a lot.
Especially,
I mean,
you know,
for
was it 1938?
I mean, that's a hell of a lot now. Kinda. I mean, that's a hell of a lot. Yeah.
That's like asteroids quantity.
Yeah.
Atari asteroids. So,
yeah, that's amazing. Like, took off like wildfire.
Oh yeah, and it's all mechanical. All the I guess energy you need is from pushing in your nickel or penny or whatever. That one mechanism supplies the spring energy for everything else.
Right.
But you'll see a progression of just simple these tabletop with pins to a theme. So that one had the theme of World's Fair, and then you see these games suddenly going from some generic artwork to a theme.
Right.
And that's what I try to portray here. You find what was the common theme of the day, or the meme, which probably didn't have a
yeah. That doesn't come until like I think 80s, 90s.
Yeah,
Richard Dawkins kind of coined the term, I think.
Yeah, the guy, the artist doing the artwork on there were probably trying to get inspired by current events.
The
stuff
latest hip thing, right in the papers and shit.
Yeah, well, the 40s, of course, you didn't really have TV. Yeah, you had movies and whatever themes, like, you know, a oil rig working theme. So those play well in Oklahoma and Texas, where you come in off the fields all day and then you plunk some nickels in the thing.
Right.
And then the progression there too is you see these kind of smallish tables, and all of a sudden within a few years there's this large back glass and then this large table. So something jumped in between there to where they decided, yeah, this is a good size.
Right.
And, the flipperless tables, they're boring to play because it's not a pinball machine.
Yeah,
game,
it's just
really.
kind of like a game of luck or whatever.
Yeah, it's gambling, so you got to nudge.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to start beating on Steve's vintage games for the sake of getting good video.
Like, how bad do you want to win?
Right. Yeah, well, when something's like 70 years old and you're pounding on it to nudge it and a piece falls off, that's bad for your future videography.
Just put it back on and never fell.
So, yeah, what I try to convey here is just showing the quick progression, because it covers almost...
So those are all live shots then?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I forget that. Wow, I forgot that. Yeah, so whose tables you said there were, Steve? I don't know if you can say. Or...
Yeah. Go to... I have a short video, the V1, I guess.
A V1? Okay. We
yeah.
can cue that up right now. Let's switch over here. Let's
also some of the
this video. Who wants to play? Yeah, let's.
You don't want to show that again.
There we go. That's V1. Right one.
Yep. So notice how much room is there.
Well, if you're gonna do it now. I guess you'll do it.
Turn it off. Oh wow. Oh Jesus. A little bit of room.
Does this look like fun?
Kinda.
Barely fitting here.
Oh, wow.
Right.
All right.
Work never stops. Now hit the button again.
Very cool.
Yeah, no room.
Obviously no room. Obviously no room. Well, that's really cool. That's a lot of tables.
Steve was trying to set up the San Diego Pinball Museum, which doesn't really exist. They're in memory, but He's one of those, PhD type physics guy, really smart, and likes to collect things, and he likes to work on the old mechanicals. Very knowledgeable about all the games. In fact, our San Diego Pinball Club visited. He opened up his collection, and it was like invite only.
Right.
Actually, go to V2. I'll show you
Okay.
Just play like a minute in
a V2.
I think the pro tip, if you're ever going to open a pinball museum.
Okay. Let's go.
Yeah, expect this. So, which will be little kids beating on your machines.
Right.
It's okay, they're my kids. So that's one of the games. So you notice the old they have a ball lift, and so you can actually put all the balls in play if you wanted to.
Oh, nice.
So that was the original multi-ball, but
right on. I did not know that.
Players, yeah, that's the first thing people realize is it's a manual ball lift, and then yeah, that's my
multi-ball
little one there. Yeah, and there's a different style of pusher flips.
Right.
I like how he keeps saying multi-ball while he's playing.
Right on.
And for video's sake, you notice there are blinds, horizontal blinds on the windows. So,
right on.
And lights overhead. So if you're going to shoot video, you have to put curtains over those things.
Right, or get all the refraction. And those glasses pick up everything, it looks like.
Yep. And other tip is you wear a black t-shirt so you don't reflect yourself. And of course, minors aren't permitted to play the game. Which is kind of funny to see. So the backstory there is Steve was looking to at least get some of his games out in a public area, and he had some arrangements and whatnot, but some of that fell through. And then I think just the price of real estate in the county just gets ridiculous, so it wasn't feasible. So as far as I know, his games they're in he lives kind of in a rural area.
Okay.
Which is means you get a bit of land, which normally in San Diego you just have whatever plot in your house and that's it. But if you're in the outlying areas, used to be avocado orchards and things like that, you could get an acre or 2 or 5. But he had his old house there. Then I think he and his wife built a newer house on the same lot, kept his old house, and that became not his man cave, but his man house.
Nice.
For all his games. So if it's like if you had a basement and you wanted 2 more basements, and you built it. So his games are all crammed in there, and that's why you see, essentially you can play one at a time, and if there's somebody behind you, you're gonna hit them.
All right.
But getting camera equipment and lights in there was a challenge.
It looks like it.
In some of the gameplay we have, you notice the hands don't match, because like I'd be on one side flipping right, then he'd be on the other side flipping left, and the camera's in the middle so I can get a shot.
Oh, nice. No, I didn't. I'm gonna have to keep my eye out now.
My favorite was having to kneel down below the camera, then reach up and then look in the monitor, because I had a computer monitor there hooked up to the camera,
right?
So I could see what I was doing. Because there wasn't, barely enough room to squeeze in. So every time you had to set up a shot, it was kind of push stuff in and finagle and make sure the curtains are covering and all that.
Yeah.
So hopefully captured the sights and sounds of the vintage
About how many
game.
machines does he have? Just out of curiosity, do you have a guesstimate?
Well, that are playable on display, I think he had about 60.
Whoosh. Whoosh.
I have a list somewhere of what.
Maybe one day that, who knows? Maybe one day that dream will happen in another form.
It's
a lot of machines.
It's a tough prospect.
Yeah, I imagine so.
When I first contacted him, I said, "Hey, I could shoot some video and get something together," and he was receptive to that. And I said, "Well, let me." He goes, "I'll do a walkthrough, and you can kind of see what's going on." And 2 hours later, I mean, he would just go up to a machine and say, "This is this," and he knew all the details, how it played, and all that. And well, okay, and he just went down the line 2 hours later.
I mean, if you're gonna buy them and collect them, I mean, one by one like that. I mean, over the years, why? I mean, yeah, why not know everything about them too? Sure. Oh, that's pretty awesome.
He doesn't restore them, although I think he's done one or two restorations, but a lot of these are in vintage working order.
Oh wow.
Some of them, the artwork, of course, gets a little crusty.
Sure.
The back glass flakes. But he doesn't go through and repaint everything or something like that on most of them. They just make sure that they're preserved and then they work. And since it's not open to the public, they don't get pretty worn out or anything.
Right. I'm sure. I mean, sure, it's better that way too, unless they get like professionally restored. I mean, since it being, I don't even know if it would be. Just leave them as is. They're in good condition.
Yeah, it depends.
It does.
And you won't find many establishments that have wood rails on display that you can play.
Yeah, the Christmas present might be just a pipe dream, but gotta throw it out there.
And I don't know if the Pacific Pinball Museum has any. They have a lot of EM, like wedges and whatnot.
I wonder where like even available to play. Yeah, that's probably off the table too. Yeah, right.
Get it from a collector.
Yeah, that's about it.
So, or if somebody dies and wills their collection to a museum.
Right. I can dream about it, and they don't know better, and just open it to the public and be like, "Here, play this machine that's old."
Oh, yeah. I mean, and usually the games there had been previously routed, so they spent some hard life in a bar already.
Right. Yeah, I imagine so. Right.
And they typically have cigarette burns on the wood.
Yeah, right. I can imagine. So, the two we saw were in pretty nice shape. I seen a little bit of wear on the one, but the other one was immaculate. Or at least it did look that way from the video.
Yeah, they're. Well, what are they, 50 years old, 60 years old, 70 years old now?
Yeah.
One artifact you notice is little cigarette holders on the sides.
Little mini ashtrays.
Not quite an ashtray. It's just a
place
to
little indentures. The little indentions.
Yeah, so it doesn't roll down the
I'll
table.
keep my eye out for that too.
So the ash drips on the floor.
And, yeah, because why not?
And let me see. The Williams games are they seem to be a little rare.
I forgot to do this. Oh my god, where's my mind? Yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry. Okay. You're not me. I was gonna throw up a giveaway.
Oh, okay.
What's funny, Randy, I don't know if you can read the chat or not, Randy, but you've got a fan. They've been loving your DVDs and enjoying those.
Oh, good. Thanks, fan. I was about to say, that you can find a lot of stuff online of all the vintage type games, but the best one I've seen. There's a gentleman named Wayne Nyans who worked at Williams back in the early days.
Okay.
And he was head of engineering at Gottlieb also.
Okay.
And he Oh, he passed away at 104 just a couple years ago.
Oh, wow. Oh, what a missed
And-
opportunity. Jesus.
And some guys had gone out to his home and interviewed him. And
Awesome.
you can find this on YouTube.
Maybe not.
And a really sharp guy. And he's got some great stories of, it was kind of a rough place to work. He would say, oh, if you know, they found out you're going to go switch to some other company, you know, they might come convince you otherwise.
Right on. Wow. Throw a little muscle your way.
Yeah, or take your game out on location. Hey, you're muscling in on our territory. Drag it out, throw it in the alley.
Wow.
Put something else in there.
I heard some pretty heavy stories from some of the early game development, even over in Japan. Some pretty rough stuff.
Well, yeah, this guy was back in the 40s. He worked with Williams and just grew up in the pinball arena, as it were. So yeah, you can.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely look that up. Oh my god, of course. There's no way I'm not.
What's fun is I think it was at one of the Pacific Pinball Expos where they had shown his interview. So you sit through that, and he's got interesting stories, all this stuff, and then watch the Pinball Collector, and then he puts a lot of stuff in context, as it were. He was the guy in the industry doing these things, and some of the games he worked on now we're showing as vintage items.
Oh no, definitely.
And then you realize, oh yeah, there's some guys behind it that were working a lot, getting the thing out the door. And for them, you know, it was make a layout, get the artwork done, get it built, onto the next one. And they put out, you know, like 3 titles a year, maybe 4 titles a year. And they had to just keep rotating new games out to get their operators, you know, making money. That's pretty much what it was.
Right,
So,
yeah.
And in those days, still, a lot of the Williams games were in bars, and they, you know, to get around the gambling aspects and the payout aspects, they'd have these. Some of them have ridiculous replay counters. Maybe they go up in the hundreds.
Okay.
So if you happen to luck out and you know, get the magic gobble hole and you get 100 replays, then you go to the barkeep and maybe they would have some payout scheme.
Okay, right on.
And then they also have what's called a knockoff switch. So the guy would, you know, see, okay, there's 100, you know, replays. You get $1 or something like that. And,
all right.
Which should be a bit of money. And then he'd lean back, hit the button, and all the replays would get knocked off.
Right. There goes your game. Yeah, preset.
Yeah, a lot of the Gottlieb games, I think, were a little more family friendly, if I guess, and they'd end up in, you know, like the boardwalks,
okay, right.
You know, more public facing things, not just the bars.
Sure.
So it seems like there's.
You tried to branch out a bit early.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Sell wherever you can is how it goes.
Yeah, yeah. Why limit yourself? I think I remember watching a video where he actually had said that. Something about he wanted to make it more family friendly to reach a wider audience.
Well, it could. But let me see. I've got this piece of trivia. Okay, one of them, the Dragnet one.
Right.
Recognize the scene. Okay, see the
I was
woman
staring
there?
at it. Yeah. Okay.
She's tied to, I think, what was the most popular modern pinball game sales?
Oh my lord, nuh-uh. Creature of the Black Lagoon?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say. Who? Wait.
Modern pinball. Who has the
modern
most
pinball?
sales?
Oh, I mean Stern, right?
Well, what theme?
What theme?
Had Uncle Fester in it.
Oh, okay. Oh, Adam's Family, obviously. Yeah, but I was gonna say how modern's modern.
That's Morticia.
How modern's modern in my lifetime?
Yeah. That actress there
no
is
way.
Carolyn Jones, and she was Morticia.
I would not have guessed that. I mean, you rang, no doubt. How are you doing, Game Club? That is amazing. Really? Wow.
So, yeah, it's a young Carolyn Jones, and then a couple years later, she's doing a sitcom, The Addams Family.
I guess I can see it.
That's the tie into pinball there. And
right,
then,
right. I was looking at it earlier. I knew it was Dragnet, but I was like, not sure. I was like, I don't know. Just a good background saver or whatever.
Yeah, you normally don't care about such things, but when you're
no, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that. I like it.
You're spending a lot of time.
Yeah, we look at a lot of like the movies and good grief. It's pointed out a whole bunch of like films. There's a database actually. The films that got all the pinball that's in all the different films. Like 7 or 8 different hidden ones in the movies.
Oh yeah, for hidden pinballs. That would be. I didn't do that in this case. That would be hard to do. But for example, the Dragonet one had a bunch of pop references that I would totally not get because it was before my time.
Yeah, right. I'm sure.
I'm looking at it, and I'm all, well, this has to mean something, but I had no clue what it was. So you have to dig around. And
right.
Also, I read that Joe Friday never says just the facts, ma'am. And that was due to Stan Freberg, who was kind of a comedian guy who'd do these funny songs. And I remember as a kid, or like on Dr. Demento, there's one Little Red Riding Hood where she's running a goodies racket. And
okay.
the Dragnet team are after her. And that was a Stan Freberg, and it was like, oh, and St. George and the Dragonet. I don't know if maybe I heard as a youngster, but at any rate, yeah, some of those references, it's like they're there in plain sight. It's just the public has forgotten about them.
Sure. Yeah, I wonder that in a lot of stuff I watch actually.
So, like in 50 years, grandkids are looking at a Foo Fighters pinball machine. Who are these guys?
Right. Don't even give it 50.
Or, yeah, why'd they make a pinball machine over guys that make elevator music?
Right.
Something like that. So, at any rate, it adds to the
curiosity.
curiosity.
I happened to Nirvana in my lifetime. It wasn't even out of print. It's like my guidance counselor came to me and he thought I would be happy about. I don't know why he thought I'd be happy about this. He's like, I'm related to the guy who turned Nirvana into music. I was like, they did that? I'm like, why? Like, that's awful. It's so awful. Shook my head and walked away. So awful.
Nah, somebody sold the catalog.
Yeah.
And also, the Wayne Nines interview as well, he mentioned that, oh, yeah, we would borrow themes left and right.
Oh, right.
Because, I mean, their job, think about it, you're trying to churn out some games, so you don't have a lot of time to think about it, get inspired. And so he'd say, yeah, well, yeah, you'd borrow stuff or you put stuff on there. Who cares? I mean,
right, just go with it, and you get problems, deal with it later.
And he says it's not like it is these days where everybody gets sued for having a piece of something that you borrowed.
Right. Is it really worth all the hassle? Just move on and keep competing.
Oh, that was their mindset of the day, is get it out the door.
Yeah.
And who cares if you borrowed some theme or artwork and it's on a pinball in a bar?
Right.
Nobody would really get bent over that.
Yeah, how times have changed.
yeah. And well, yeah, then of course in doing that you see a theme go from
don't steal
the 40s
borrow.
vintage. Yeah. True. You see the themes progressing from just nondescript stuff to maybe everyday theme to now pop culture theme.
Right.
And that kind of carries on until the 90s? I don't know. Well, maybe in the 80s you get some themes. I don't know who did the first movie theme or something like that, but or Evil Knievel. Okay, so I'm thinking of some
Right, but that's
EM games.
that's person. It's not like a movie or a. But yeah, that's getting close. I mean, it's getting there.
But think of
not
any
there.
pins you played as a kid. Maybe EMs or the early '80s and things like that. And it's, when like a movie Star Trek came out. So having a pin with the Star Trek theme was kind of, that's a big deal.
Yeah, right.
That was a popular game in its day. So the progression there is you go, now referencing pop culture to including pop culture.
Right, and then the licensing starts to kick in.
And it took it a while, but then it's like, especially Stern, they put out licensed material, and the smaller boutique pins may not be able to afford that. So yeah, it's kind of fun to put that in perspective, because if you're to just get into pinball today, and it's like, well, every game is based on a movie, and you think, well, that's how it's always been.
Yeah, right. That's not true. Yeah, definitely far from true. And then I don't think not always true still, but largely true. I mean, it's hard to think of one that hasn't. Wow. It's hard to think of one that hasn't been like that in a minute. I mean, there's a rumor of one, but that's just the laundromat. That's the only one I can think of, unfortunately, for better or worse.
That was my brother.
I know, don't mean to plug it, but like seriously, there is no other one I can even think of. I was trying to go through like what's come out, like maybe there was
Spooky was made some games, and American Pinball.
Leprechaun, but I was thinking that's a movie. A lot of them. See, I'm not sure if it's based off the movie. I haven't played the American Table.
They had what, Houdini?
And, that's based off a movie.
Was it Gods of Valhalla or something like that?
That might be a movie. I'm not sure.
No,
that's not a movie.
That's a custom.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to get into
right on.
pinball battles. It's just
no. I'm just trying to think of one that wasn't like a movie or a thing. Trolls was that was a movie too. Whatever. Even like I was thinking effects too. It's just like they're all movies. That's pretty interesting. For the last long while, movies are very popular themes. Anyway.
Well, it's built-in recognition. So
yeah, definitely.
When you have to
and high demand.
If you have to sell your pinballs in Europe, it could be that the market there is they want recognition of some pop culture reference movies, and so that's what you do. You build what you can sell.
Oh, definitely. I was just gonna say there's high demand too for like very specific iconic tables that have not yet been realized. I've seen the lists of people's wish lists of things they want to see, so there's no shortage of table ideas out there of things that haven't actually gotten their day in the sun.
Nobody's clamoring for a Dr. Pimple Popper themed table.
I haven't even seen that. Is that like next? I've seen the fart movie, Dr. Pimple Popper. I haven't seen.
It's a TV show, I think, or YouTube.
Nice.
It's a dermatologist, so.
Well, amen.
I don't want to go too far. Just think of tubes of toothpaste being squirted. So.
Sure. I guess I'm missing out on modern television. I feel so left out.
Oh, that's what happens when your show ends and you're flipping through channels and it's like on TV and it's like, oh, what is this?
We've all been there.
So yeah, there's certain themes you probably want to stick to, and some that you want to avoid. But let me go into where would you find some of these vintage games, other than you have a collector, and maybe there's a couple pinball museums around the country Oh, none pop into my head because I haven't. It's some museum, especially after COVID quarantine, a lot of them shut down because people can't congregate and it's hard to make money. So now and then there are some museums that will have one or two games in there. I've heard of those. So they get exposed to these, and of course, nobody's going to reproduce a wood rail table
Right.
for your virtual pinball, or maybe somebody has, or one or two.
Yeah. Good Grief was
but
saying
it's-
Portland has the most pinball machines. Do you know where in Portland, Good Grief?
Probably a lot of bars.
Yeah, right. Oregon, yeah.
I haven't been to Portland in years.
Portland, Oregon. This is Chester.
Yeah.
Agent Chester Desmond.
Bar.
He has an
yeah.
answer. It says, whoa, Jesus Christ. It says it has 756 machines. That's a hell of a collection. That's solid. That's very solid.
Zero wood rails.
Right. I don't know.
Yeah, they wouldn't last. Unless you know somebody that's got them in their house. Again,
Do they have to be temperature controlled? Do you know?
Yeah.
They do. Yeah.
Pinballs don't like being outside.
Sure. I was an archivist for a library, so I was just flashing when you said they probably couldn't keep them. Unless they had a special collections room, and put them like in a smaller room and put them away, just off to the side and control the temperature in that room. Be like look only.
Well, if you had a 40s vintage dresser, with fine wood, maybe a little carving, some veneer, and you left it in your garage,
that's
it would
the end.
probably delaminate in a year or two. So,
oh, definitely.
The old wood rails do the same thing, and the mechs get crusty. That's probably why you're not going to find so many of them these days. There are no barn finds because they would have.
Now, there's a big caveat to this whole thing. It's in 322 different venues in the Portland area. Even if it's under the same umbrella, that's still a lot of legwork. But it's good to know. I mean, if I'm ever in Portland, that's a smorgasbord of places and tables to check out. I mean, you won't get bored, so go Portland.
Is there an app that'll find you the best route to hit all the bars and clubs?
Oh, probably.
And so
but now
you can do a pin crawl.
Well, there is an app for that. Yeah, there is. There's a Pinball Locator. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but I think I saw it get updated not too long back. Let me drop a link to that. I can find it real quick. Yeah, that's how I found a whole bunch of different tournaments and whatnot.
I got it.
You got it? Great.
Well, I've got one. I can't guarantee the safety of this, so use it
Let
on
me-
your.
It's Pinball Map, it's called.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah. Whoa, it's bright. It just got blinded by science. Yeah.
Good Grief is asking if
Professor Pants, I haven't seen you.
Hey,
for a
what's up,
minute.
Professor Pants? I've used it's okay, he says. Yeah, it's not accurate by any means. Buyer beware. Double check your references. But it's a good place to start because there is no other. I mean, basically, that's all you get. That's all there is.
one of your chats is asking about coating the wood on the wood rails, and they used a varnish. I had assumed that the varnishes that they used back in the 40s and 50s were much better than what we get today. So,
Really?
Yeah, and the paints too. They probably had more lead.
Yeah, right. I mean, you're right. Yeah, true that. May not be good for you, but it makes it last long. And
yeah, it just seems like if you've done any kind of like woodworking today, and it's especially for something long lasting or outdoors, it's like nothing seems to work.
yeah, I know. That's
last more than a year.
Yeah, we used to spray our deck every year. Yeah.
Have I met any celeb pinballers? I think all of them.
Any in particular you're interested in?
Well, T-Mac, he was kind of a celebrity, mainly because he was a former professional NBA player.
Oh, geez.
And he got into pinball, and he's very tall.
I was gonna say, like, whoa, that's not what you would think.
7 feet, so.
Like Lurch plays pinball.
Yeah, well, he was doing okay, and
right on. I'm professional.
I think he lives in the Seattle area, and he did host a tournament at his private arcade. He lives on an island.
Ooh.
So that's another thing, is like, if somebody has a good, private arcade, you're not going to see it unless they invite you. But I think he had a good lineup, and they had one of those tournament events, invite only, but you had to be one of the IFPA type good players.
Right.
And he also set the limit when it was coming out with the tourney cam, which were the cameras over the tables. That was what I called the T-Mac limit, where the camera had to be. It couldn't be lower because it would hit his head.
Nice.
So, as a design constraint, the camera had to be a minimum distance so it wouldn't hit his head.
Awesome.
He'd let you know about it if you screwed up.
I'm sure.
But somebody's asking about restoring old wooden machines. I can't help you out there. I don't work in that area.
Right. They're saying
sure
they're
there's a lot.
Fan of polybase.
There's probably a lot of information available today that, especially with YouTube, there's a couple guys that restore. But wood rails aren't that popular, really. It's mainly there's just not that many people can get a hold of.
Right left on the planet, probably. I wonder if there's even been a tally.
IPDB might have.
Lift table. Right.
Yeah.
It's like the other way around for me. Like I don't. I get a step stool. He gets a lift. The table gets a step stool.
If you're as tall as he is, and you got to kind of hunch over to play.
I was thinking that might be challenging in itself.
There's probably tournament video available.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. I just gotta see that, but obviously it was good enough. I dealt his way around it.
So let me have you show another video, which is of a private collection, and I'm not going to even say much about it because I don't know how much I can say. I don't even remember where it is. It's just my brother knew.
Hopefully it's this one.
Pinball risers. No, you just put on the shorty legs and then put a kneel pad there.
The right one, visited private arcade collection May 10th.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to... I don't want to talk over this, but
right,
if there's audio...
Yeah, I'll pause it. Let me know when you're ready. Take 3.
Yeah, this guy named Paul. It's my brother knows him from something, and one day he says, "Hey, we got to do something. Let's go up in the LA area and bring your camera."
Right.
And unfortunately, I didn't bring a tripod. Everything's handheld, and the lighting isn't good for all of these. But he's got some kind of unique stuff, and if you like mechanicals and some of the older things, some of these I've never seen. I looked on YouTube, and if there's any video available, isn't anything that good. So
right on.
Yeah, this is about 5 minutes, so I'll stop talking. Just go ahead and play it.
Here we go. Turn it up a little.
That's the wrong one.
That's the wrong one?
That's the wrong one. That's number 4.
Try this one.
Go back to number 3.
There we go.
There you go.
Got it. Where was it throwing? Home run. Up to third base, almost halfway. Need more space lessons.
Explain it to NASA. Nice. And so, I guess we're actually ready. So, this guy right here, this target.
Oh, okay.
Takes a little while to get used to which way the thing moves. No.
You have to do them in any
Like a blind
particular
bear.
order?
Well, apparently not. Because you're just doing donuts at this point.
Yeah, I'm following the lines in the
Your
road.
lines are just in there, circles and circles. Slow.
There it goes. There, I'll get that one.
Nice.
Inadvertently, I'll go there. Is there some sort of reward for this? Or?
You're an ace.
Yeah,
You're
just,
there.
yeah.
Just a backache and a.
Yeah.
And my fingers are
I
gone
think it's
now.
you're supposed to be.
All right, here we go. Oh, clang.
Thank God. Ooh, show off.
Go ahead. No.
Oh! No, that's
wrong.
This is pretty fun.
Ooh, that was almost
It's really hard.
yeah, that's hard. Nice.
Yeah. It's not doing me any good.
On this thing. It's really hard.
It is really hard.
And the light is on. Alright, now I have to stand them up.
This is hard.
Yeah, well, he actually has a switch for a chin, doesn't he?
Yeah. We both went down.
I got that one. Tell you ripped my arm off.
It's just not right.
Oh, just set
That's
screwed
set
in.
screw, yeah.
Am I there? Yeah. That's the original Rock'em Sock'em Robot.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh, yeah, oh my god. Some of those are pretty badass. Hans was saying that the younger generation is like, he thinks they crave the analog, like tactile reality of the old school games, and why some of the pinball arcades are starting to come back and do really well. But
Yeah, I mean, or you go to Dave and Buster's or something, and then we got the basketball toss and
Brent.
some of the skee ball kind of stuff. But I mean, what people don't realize, there was a lot of these type of mechanicals at the arcade, and they come and go. They're gone in the 50s, and
right.
they disappear until some collector finds one in a garage and restores it and gets it to work. The bowling games, I think have remained popular, because I know some basement collectors have a bowling lane down in their basement.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
That one was the 5/8 scale, and 60s. But God, I've been to a place in the past 5 years or so that had an updated version of the little bowling alley. So the half scale or 5/8 scale.
Right. I've seen it before, not in a long time. I think I've seen it at like a carnival, actually, or something like that. Can't remember exactly where I've seen it. But not in a
bowling
minute.
alleys.
I don't think I've seen a full one.
Well, it's like how many bowling alleys are near where you live these days?
Oh shit! Right across the street. And God, no pinball. I think I told the story even with. Yeah, no, I went across the street and I'm like, yeah, I haven't been in a while. I'm sick. I can't bowl no more. And I'm like, I live across the street. It's like, I remember you guys used to have pinball. He's like, you still have machines? He's like, so you're from here? I said, yeah. He said, we ain't had pinball in 10 years. I said, oh, okay. He's looking at me strange as hell. I'm like, all right, you have a good one. Yeah, I'm hoping they catch with the times a little and get a pinball machine, and I can just go across the street and play. I mean, it's a nice bowling alley, though. They're all jazzed up for that. But.
Yeah, it's where I live. There, a couple alleys have shut down over the years. So there's one kind of close up in Oceanside, but last time I went there, I think it was with Cub Scouts.
Oh, I can't pitch them a machine. We don't see eye to eye. They play music at blaring levels that just makes my house rock. You can pitch them though when you're down this way. I don't want to pitch them. COVID, yeah, they do. I mean, COVID's been shutting everything down. And even now, it's no longer a pandemic, so maybe some of the stuff will come back.
Well, yeah, fortunately for me, there's a restaurant like 2 miles away that had remodeled, and I guess the owner likes pinballs or something. There's 2 machines in there, and one of them is diner, a 90s vintage diner, because it's in a diner.
Fuck, you're right.
And the other one's Mandalorian.
Oh shit, that's a good one.
The new and I'm looking at it for stickers to see who operates it, and I couldn't see any. And
right.
I asked an operator I know. I said, "Does anyone run this?" Because a lot of times they'll at least or contract out maintenance to an operator to
right.
make sure the game's working and pull out any quarters and whatnot. So
nah,
maybe the guy who
I was gonna say the only problem with the last place I was at was they don't get maintained always at every place.
That's true. So if you're having a pinball club event, then generally the games are maintained by whoever's hosting the event. So everyone has a good time.
Right. I mean, I mean, if you're looking to play, that's a good signifier of like tables will be in order as best they can be.
You're not gonna go to some rando if Dave and Buster's had games and descend upon there and see what machines are working that day.
Yeah. I got like a 50-50. It's a place I go to.
Oh, Highland Park Bowl.
Oh.
Yeah, I hope there's still some out and around. Yeah, my last bowling experience was with Cub Scouts, and you just
okay.
You're just corralling kids around there, and
you weren't in Cub Scouts. You were even worse actually.
Yeah, my kids were in it, so I was not really paying attention. Somebody says, "Hey, you're up," and so okay, grab a ball, go up there. And I didn't realize it's like they were doing floor refinishing, and 2 feet in front of the line, it was bare. It's like they had sanded and then there's bare wood. And I come zipping up to release, and my foot slides, and all of a sudden it stops. Ball goes down, and I just do a bunny hop.
Right.
And it's like, what? And midair, then I see this freshly oiled lane that I'm about to land on.
Oh, dope.
And so I just go whoomp, feet go out. And
it's like they got part of the work done.
Yeah, and I'm bewildered. It's like, what is this, a prank? Did anybody? Maybe somebody commented, but I wasn't there. But yeah, that was surprising. That had never happened before. Either that, or maybe I got left-footed shoes or something.
Oh, they did a test? The old pinball player said they did a test, a couple with multimorphic pins.
Yeah.
And it didn't bring in the money they were hoping, so it's just not proceeding.
Yeah, there's too many distractions at Dave and Buster's. That's why. Because
if they'd only advertised in the right spots, we could have came out and supported it. And who knows, maybe they did.
You do have to know your market.
Right.
So that's... Like I had
try to bring out the pin heads.
Yeah, here's
we've been talking about this, yes. Interesting. What's I know what this is.
So that was our club tournament on Tuesday, and it's a local place called Brewski's. And that's what the lineup looks like, and they play pretty well. But on the other side of the bar, I don't know if I have a picture of it, is video games and pool and something else.
Oh, right on.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know
if
this captured it.
A little bit.
And of
in
course,
the back,
in the back, I didn't expressly go out to catch that.
Right.
But it's a sports bar. So there's TVs all over. So while you're there, you can, the NBA finals or playoffs are going on, a Padre game, playing baseball, maybe some other games.
Sure.
So, and then they've got the full service bar, and they've got a kitchen. So
right. So if you enjoy whatever's playing on the tube, you can check that out or go do something else. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So that place does well. And it's across the street from Miramar Marine Air Station. So I'm sure a lot of Marines go there on their time off, have some fun.
Oh, right on. I like to go to sports bars. I'm not per se for the sports, but they always have the best games. They always have like something you can play, darts, shuffleball, shit like that. So I send them up.
Yeah, and being San Diego, doing indoor stuff isn't as appealing as when you can go outdoors most of the year.
So it's not like that here.
It's a tough call. It's,
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of nature, but
yeah, I mean, I've been to some places in Chicago, which they're big, and God, what was that one? North City Beach. They had sand volleyball indoors. They had basketball hoops, a mini putt course.
Damn.
It's like you'd never see anything like that out here.
Damn. Right on.
Because it'd be too big, it'd be expensive, and the closest, I guess, is Belmont Park, which was an old amusement park.
Belmont? No, not the horse racing.
Solana Beach Pizza. They have 2 still, and the last time I was there, it was a medieval remake. And is Elvira, the Scared Stiff, still there? That's been there the longest.
I think we talked about this before, but does Stern have an on the newer tables, and if you know, even an input jack option? I think we talked. I don't know why. I think we talked about this. Maybe it wasn't with you, but like for headphones.
Oh.
Maybe on the home tables. I don't know.
Actually, you reminded me of something.
Okay.
I bet you can't see what this is.
Kinda. They can kinda too. Oh yeah, I think I know what that is. Is that really?
That's a microphone, and let me see.
Is that a what do you call it, Bluetooth receiver?
Nope.
No. What is it? 180.
More old school.
180p.
And this is the antenna.
Is that for broadcasting?
It's a FM transmitter.
Oh, okay. I seen the 180. I was like, is that for P or?
No, that was the channel.
Oh yeah, right on. So very cool.
So that bar picture I showed there, my only if it's a complaint is the games have to be turned down, the volume, because you're competing with sports on TV and any jukebox stuff. So the operator always keeps the volumes turned down. So if it's kind of quiet in there and you put your head up, you can't hear the game, but otherwise it gets drowned out. So I was thinking, well, maybe I can put this. So I modified, this is one of those, fits on your head, and then this goes up to your mouth, like you're docent on a museum tour and people have FM receivers. So I kind of hacked it up, put a suction cup on it, and took off the headpiece part, and then it sits on the table. I don't know if I have a picture of it, but I tried it out. And then if you're maybe you have a phone with an FM receiver,
right?
I don't know. There's FM radio, it looks like
that. Yeah.
And you just tune to it. Yeah, so I was able to. While we were warming up, I stuck it on a game, and I could hear it through it. It only does one channel, but it wasn't tremendously loud. So either it's not transmitting loud enough, or my phone, the FM radio, doesn't amplify as much, or it's just noisy in there, and with the earbuds it's not going to drown it out. But I was maybe I'll modify this to increase the audio gain.
What would it cost to get a suction cup microphone?
Oh, these, you can get these on Amazon.
But that's not a suction cuppy one on the tip, is it?
Nobody sells a suction cuppy one.
Oh, maybe you can put a little suction cup on the tip of the microphone.
Well, you need
just cut it out. I know, but if you could cut out like a piece of suction cup so it's stuck onto the table.
This sticks on the table.
Oh, I know that. I just like if the microphone stuck to the table, you maybe get better sound. I didn't know if it resonated too much.
This goes to where the speaker is.
Oh, okay. You just put it right on the backboard. All right.
Yeah.
I was thinking of, what are those ones called? I have one that's, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm thinking of. I sounded retarded for a minute. They have these microphones that are suction cups, like the Amplify Sound you can buy. They're just novelties. But they have, I have a little purple one here. I'll dig it out later. But basically it amplifies anything. And you just stick it to it like a suction cup. and then you can jack it out to headphones. I thought maybe something like that might be a alternate solution.
Yeah. It was just an experiment.
It's a good idea. It's a great idea. I love it.
It works, and anyone with an FM receiver can hear it. So if 4 people are playing a game and want to tune into the gameplay of whoever's playing, they could all listen in. Whereas I think Bluetooth, but
oh no, that's even better because everyone could listen in. I didn't even think about that. So if you honed it down, you'd have match play, like just tune it right in.
Yeah, you could do that.
Well, you could even rebroadcast it.
Yeah. See, I got an idea just playing an old wood rail because they used to do that. Just kidding.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
a little before their
vacuum
time.
tubes.
A little before their time. They had the Victrola up to it, and he was just getting the horn right there. And
yeah, please flip record over and continue play.
yeah, thank you. Right, thank you. That'll be another 5 cents.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I thought it was a sick solution too.
Well, we'll do that on the tech chat at some future time.
Oh no, we got the overlays up still. No, I got the wrong thing up. You just have to do it. Let me get this right.
Put up number 4.
All right.
That was number 3.
Number 2, number 1, camera 4. Here we go. I'll put it if it doesn't crash.
Guess where that is.
I couldn't read it quick enough to guess.
That's
somewhere in France.
Museum. Yeah, with the San Francisco trolley car. I don't think so.
I saw the Mystique.
Musée Mécanique.
Oh, Mécanique.
San Francisco. It's the tourist fisherman's wharf.
Nice.
That's her dear old grandmother pointing to herself.
Well, it was summertime. I was high school, and this friend of my aunt's was a photographer, and so he asked us to come down to the beach, and he took some pictures. And little did I know it was going to end up in a museum here in San Francisco. They also have.
Well, that's amazing. So your grandmother ended up donating art, or not art, but a player piano or art or something of that nature.
No, she was in a museum.
Well, goddamn, one day I will be too if I'm fortunate. It'll
So
display me.
if you ever go up to the Bay Area, San Francisco, and then the touristy Fisherman's Wharf,
Okay.
there's the Musée Mécanique. I guess that's how they pronounce it, which is the old Playland by the beach,
Okay.
which is a big arcade back in the day.
I've heard the
And
Fisherman's Wharf, like, it's famous,
Yeah,
but that's about it. Yeah.
Well, it's a tourist spot, so
Yeah.
none of the locals go there.
Of course.
You visit. So yeah, this was quite a few years ago. So we were up for a visit, and she said, somebody said my picture's in the museum. And sure enough, on that carousel was a big cutout, and it's her and her 3 friends from high school walking by Playland at the beach.
Holy shit.
Carrying something, and some photographer like said a friend of her aunt, which was probably the fun aunt that everybody should have. and I that picture I've seen before. I remember as a kid it was in TV Guide over some I don't remember what, but so it might be a stock photo by now.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
But at any rate, yeah, it was funny to say, well, if you like mechanical arcade items, the museum is free. You can go in there, and they
cool.
got some pinballs, I think.
Oh, that's awesome. You can just go check it out.
See some of that, but yeah, I don't know if they still have small carousel as an exhibit. But I thought that was pretty funny. So I guess if you hang around long enough, you could end up in a museum. That's
Right.
a life lesson.
A life lesson. That's awesome. You should be so lucky, yeah.
Yeah.
And for something that's pretty cool. There's other ways to get into the museum, and that's a good way to get there.
Yeah, but you have to go to San Francisco. So.
All right.
So there's another example of where you can find old mechanicals, but the ones they have on exhibit, of course, that was 2005, so it's pretty outdated by now. So if you go to their website, they probably have a better list of the collection that they have on display, and they rotate stuff out. They have probably a big warehouse.
Oh, nice.
All the old stuff from when the arcade was taken down.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So if you go back and visit again, there's something more to see. I'm sure they can't all fit it in anyway.
Who was it that framed himself in an Applebee's bathroom?
Say, what are you talking about?
Just glancing at your chat.
Framed himself
funny,
in a...
Professor Pants.
My dad printed out a photo of himself, framed it, and put it...
That is amazing. And it's in Elmira, so I'm like, dude.
Well, that's one way to go about it. And just remind me, maybe I'll pick a different restaurant chain, start putting on my picture, give myself a little title.
Good.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah,
I gotta check if it's there.
Well, I saw Elvira do her Halloween show at Knott's Berry Farm many years ago.
Oh wow, that's a treat.
Yeah, it's like vaudeville. She's really good at it. Unfortunately, I guess her movie script writing isn't as funny, or doesn't convey well.
Right on.
But yeah, she's pretty short too. Well, compared to the male dancers that are around.
Oh right, I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. I thought she was tall. So yeah, right on. I don't know. The movies, you can't tell. You can't tell TV. Nope.
I'm sure there's YouTubes of it somewhere.
All right, that's worth checking out.
Yeah, those are entertaining.
Should we be wrapping up, do you think, or?
Well, if you have any, obviously any questions. Oh, I did find my. So if you're taking vintage to the new.
Oh shit!
My.
What's this?
That's my Time Shock game.
Oh my lord!
It actually works too under Windows 10.
No shit.
So this is a vintage 1997 Windows 95.
Right, yeah, and you can get on 2010. It still works. I have problems with Windows 11 getting anything to work at all. But
yeah,
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
And I know I've got some other stuff somewhere, but yeah, so pretty soon people are going to start collecting vintage virtual pinball games.
I can see that. I mean, it's already happening.
Like, was it the Bill Budge Pinball Constructor set? If you have a Atari 800.
Oh my lord!
Or an Apple II.
Those were pretty cool. That's how I started playing pinball. Well, not really. I mean, I played pinball across the street, but I was so young, I don't even remember the games. Then I played pinball again when I was in college because there was a machine there. But mostly I remember pinball from the PC because I kind of grew up with like a PC Junior. So I remember just like, that's how I remember pinball mostly, is just from PC games. And just, it used to be the way, like, you know, if you're, test your physics, the ball bounce.
Oh, Space Cadet. That was included on what, like Windows 98?
Yeah. Well, that's a little bit later, yeah. That was PC Junior DOS days, but yeah. Things were starting to get cooking then. Graphics were coming around.
All right, I'll look at the comments here.
How much time was? Oh yeah, there we go.
He's asking how much time invested in creating the Pinball Collector. Well, quite a bit. Let me see. Had to go to Steve's collection many times, and he's about a half-hour drive away from me. I forget when, but yeah, I mean, to lug your camera gear and lights, and then he's set it up and get positioned. You can only do maybe 2 or 3 tables, depending on how it went. And also on if they were working properly throughout the shoot. Most of the times they held up pretty well. But and it was all single camera, so everything was, you reposition, shoot some balls around, reposition, make sure the lights don't glare, shoot some balls around, reposition,
right,
set up some scoring. And so it's very tedious, as it were, and plus there's not a lot of room to maneuver in there. So
I mean, the shots are so good. Like I said, I forgot that they're not like, I forget, they're really good. I forgot you did. It's so horrible to say. I forgot you did them. No, but they just come out so stock photo compared to the as you see the progression of films. They came out really well.
Yeah, well, just trying to capture them in their best light, as it were. But
they did a really good job.
Yeah, essentially, you're just shooting video inside of somebody's house.
You wouldn't know that.
And yeah, that's why I have curtains to block light, or to keep there's a wall next to you or something. So
because I found myself just getting lost in the tables, like the art of them. Some of them are just so amazingly gorgeous. The construction, the materials they're using, comparatively, you can see some ceramics in there. I'm like, wow, that's some real money going into that table, and just nowadays at least. I don't know if it was then, but
Bakelite was a material. Then they start moving to metal because in the 50s, I think it was just cheaper.
So that's what the ceramic looking material is, Bakelite?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then the type of plastic, so they're kind of fragile. So that's another thing when you're shooting somebody's vintage game that, there's only 5 left in the world.
Right.
You don't really want to, you're very careful.
My Lord.
And you don't want your camera falling over, or a light or something.
Or smack the ball so hard you crack something.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Natural, no, it did not use any natural light. Those are all fluorescent video lights. So yeah, what's tough if you're shooting video and you're say a window is left uncovered, and there's sunlight coming in. Well, the sunlight will not match the lights that you're using. So if you have a shadow, it'll cast a bluish glow or something, because sunlight usually is a higher color temperature, so it's bluer.
Oh, you see that in Polaroids. I don't know if it's the same thing, but I do remember in Polaroids.
Well, yeah, you can color balance.
You get that blue hue sometimes.
You would have to match exactly the sun's hue with any lights you're using, and same way with any lights inside the house. So it's usually easiest just to block out all.
So that's what that device is for.
Extraneous lights, and just use your own, and then your camera can color balance just to one light. Yeah, that's when they say 5200K.
I have a little color spectrometer thing that you look through to match color, and we were talking about. I'm like, I don't remember why I have it. I'm like, I don't know what it's for. And now I remember that's what it's for.
Well,
for matching colors of the spectrum.
It's the formal use of it, but in fact, different light sources will have a different spectrum. So if you have an incandescent bulb, it tends to radiate, warmer color, I guess they call it.
Right, so you can match things properly.
Old fluorescents tended to be greener, because green was good for your eyes would pick up on green, but they're bad for video. That's why some of those, what's that Fight Club movie?
Okay.
Has a kind of gritty, greenish glow because they wanted to capture the non-natural fluorescent lighting, which gives you that sick green hue. So at any rate,
right now. That's funny.
So yeah, adjusting your light source and older games, since they don't have bright lights on them flashing up, they're actually easier to video. The newer games with all the LEDs blasting out, they quickly will saturate your camera or blow it out. So yeah, I think they're a little tougher to capture. And then you have the modern games with the LEDs running down the sides, and they'll flash and flare. So
right,
it's more of a challenge, but I mean that's how the game is. So your camera has to do its best.
right.
Any other somebody has an Atari emulator. Yeah.
Oh, we got an old school Atari. I have an Atari computer, actually. I don't know if it still works. I gotta pull that out. I mean, it's been sitting a while, so it may not. Yeah. It's an old one. Atari
Vintage computer fairs are popular. Yeah, my brother used to beat up on we had an old Atari 800. Golly, I think I bought a floppy drive for it. Did not work that well.
Right.
I remember trying to compile a C program, and half an hour later, it was still grinding through.
I remember playing games. They would be like load disk, load next disk. 20 minutes later, load disk, load next disk. I was like, wow, this game better be worth it. Crash. Okay.
Good grief is full of questions. How'd the idea to create the Pinball Collector come about? I think it was just visiting Steve's collection. I thought, wow, this is cool, because it's something you don't see in the wild, as it were. So I said, hey, I can video these things, and he was amenable to it. But I had about 60 games kind of prepped. I looked through my notes. I took a bunch of notes, and we didn't get through maybe 20, but one aspect is I think his wife wanted to live coastal, so he no longer lives in that area. He lives down the street from me, of all places. And I asked him, I said, oh, any games in there? And he goes, oh no, not allowed. So I was thinking of doing a follow-up to capture maybe the 60s vintage or whatever, but that's not going to happen. It's not practical.
Oh, right on. That would be a good follow-up. Are there any coming down the pike? I know I asked this last time. Any reconsiderations?
No.
No. All right. You gotta try. I gotta plant the seeds.
Well, it's tough to compete with YouTube and all that, so it's a lot of work.
Yeah, but you put out some quality stuff, and you really know what you're doing, and I think that makes the big difference. I mean, the know-how, the knowledge, just the experience, and being who you are and whatnot.
Well,
makes a big difference.
Yeah, if people want to pay for it, but
you never know. You never know. Dreams do come true.
I'd like it if someone else would do like some of these collections that we know about, and these obscure games that you can only read about, like
the
one I showed. Yeah, there's Apollo 14, which you're never going to see that. And it's all electromechanical, and it's like you're trying to dock the little spaceship, the lunar module with the command ship, and it's all, clickety clackety, all the relays going, and nobody's going to want to put that out because they're so rare and valuable now.
Right.
Oh, license it to Stern. They're too cheap.
That is not where the money is at. These are not the droids you seek.
Like I'm trying to sell Stern my James Bond 60th anniversary retheme kit. Laundry day, take your $20,000 pinball machine and retheme it.
Right.
That's in case my brother's watching. So.
You theme it. Amen.
Yeah.
It would be the only one in a minute. I'm saying that.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Yeah. Not even the pinball museum up in what are they? Alameda, Fremont, the Pacific Pinball Museum. They've got a bunch of wood rails. They do a lot of media stuff and promotional, but I don't know if they have done any series type video work. It's not quite in their wheelhouse.
Right,
Is that what
right.
it's called?
Right. But that kind of place might give you permission, depending. I don't know. Not to play them.
Yeah,
but,
well, it takes. You'd have to spend a week,
right.
Day in, day out, nonstop. It's
quite the expense.
Well, unless you just want to walk by and scan across all the games. That makes for boring video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fluff and fold. Is
Fluff and fold.
that laundry day?
Yeah, I think so.
And get the conditioner bonus or something.
Right. Is there a lost sock mode?
That would be interesting.
And
then that's kind of like lost sock bonus. At the end, all the lost socks come back.
Oh my lord! Right, multi-ball from hell.
Well, any more questions on old timey crap that I would know about for wood rails? There might be some books. I know there's some.
They are hard to come by.
Yeah.
I was scoping books. I looked at so the movie came out, Tilt, right? And I look up his book, the color book, the coffee table one that's in the movie, right? $3,000, $5,000, $700. I can find a reprint for 23, but anything new, old, there's only 2 copies I could find. So if you know anyone sitting on those, they might be able to hustle up a few $100s easy. I think the prices were overblown that I saw, but a colored book like that, I can see it going for $5. And I used to be in the book business, so I'm just saying, if they're sitting around, they're worth something.
There's online on pinrepair.com, I think was a collector that also repaired games. Actually, that's where I found out some of this stuff. But yeah, if you're interested, there's obviously resources online. Internet Pinball Database is a good place to start. For arcade style, the killer list of video games, is that KLOV? There's sometimes you're in between electromechanical stuff. Somebody will throw a flyer in there, but you won't have a lot of information.
Right.
And so obviously some of the stuff just, that's what they did. That was their work. They got it out in 6 months, built a couple hundred, sent them to the operators, and then they moved on to the next thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure
never to see it again. So I remember going to Disneyland as a youth, and they had a penny arcade with some of those things, and those eventually, I think, they just died. They got so used and abused. Eventually,
I was kind of wondering that, like, how many smaller operators were putting out machines all over the place. You just said, like, some people would just put out like 50, 100 tables, just like a small operation here, and then put out more, and just their own little tables or recreations or knockoffs or.
I don't know. Your voice was cutting out.
Oh, you were saying that like the smaller operators would put out tables. Is that what you were saying?
In regards to
like back in the day, classic tables, like there'd be like 50, 100 tables. Would it be like other operators besides the major players?
Oh, an operator's an operator.
Or not
you know,
operators, but I mean producer and people putting out production, just like smaller productions.
Yeah, I mean they would like
Operators are all right.
Genco. Oh, you just look at some of the old stuff. It's like Rockola, which was famous for jukeboxes. So I had no idea Rockola had made pinball related items.
Right,
sometimes they buy a company and say, oh, you guys make this, okay, we'll buy your company and we'll make a few more of whatever you were selling.
Right, before we transition over.
Yeah, the only ones that survived much longer would be Williams and then Gottlieb. Bally used to make bingos and slot machines.
Right.
And then through the years, Bally and Williams combined. So, as the years go on, I think you get into the 90s and it kind of shrinks down.
Yeah.
I think there's an interview recently with Gary Stern, and he was talking about the old days. So his father, Sam Stern, worked at Williams, which some of these games were the same vintage. And just how, people move around and the name kind of stays there, but the industry kind of shifts around them.
Right. I mean, they become corporations and
or
companies.
Somebody buys it and says, "Oh, we'll buy the assets or something." But
yeah, I mean, but with Stern, it got sold and bought back. I mean, that's pretty amazing right there. Within one generation.
Yeah. Well, Stern, I remember playing Stern arcade games, which are, I think, Konami or one of those Japanese imports, but they slap the Stern name on them and put them in your local arcade.
Right. Have the name.
And Data East, I think, was one of the few pinball manufacturers back in those days. And then Gary Stern bought them out. So it was interesting. So
so it was Gary Stern bought Data East out.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I thought it was the other way around. All right, I got the story backwards. I read that incorrectly.
But what I find interesting is in the past 5 or 6 years with modern pinball, you see, the boutique shops coming out. So like Spooky Pinball, then Multimorphic, of course, has been around a while. American Pinball. So it's like, when things are a little more popular and money to be made, these factories suddenly pop out, hobbyists or whatever. It's mainly a manufacturing effort, so you still have to manufacture. But it reminds me of looking at these vintage games, and you see these manufacturers you never heard of before, and it's like, oh yeah, they're popular for about 5 years, 6 years, and then the public taste had changed and they dwindled and went on to something else.
All right.
So yeah, you're kind of seeing it repeat, which is interesting, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, it shows the popularity that it's coming back on the rides, at least. That's good for pinball. It's good for us.
Yeah, and if
you
can make money doing it,
I mean, definitely. I mean, it's cool to see so many people putting out little homebrew tables, and I think they're gonna get better and better as the technology allows people to compete with the bigger boys at a cheaper price. I mean, things are moving sort of in that direction. I mean, 3D printing materials allowing people to keep up with their tables a lot more readily. It's the whole industry. Everything's getting smaller. The programming's getting easier. I mean, more human friendly in some regards.
That would be interesting. I don't know if it's getting cheaper.
What? I think some of it. Some of it. At least more accessible, and
it's, as far as I can tell, it's still a lot of hand labor to assemble a modern pinball machine.
That is true, but at least the accessibility of getting parts, getting reproduced parts, getting new parts, that's now a reality. Where 5-10 years ago, when 3D printing was just where it was, it wasn't so readily available.
If AI is going to take over, AI probably can't make a pinball machine. It'll have too much difficulty. Humans will be good for something.
Right, produce the pinball. Your little hands. Your chubby hands. My lord.
Tight rolled pants and bad 80s styles. I've always had the same hairstyle, so.
Right, I figured it all comes back in style. If I just wait long enough, a few years I'll be in style, a few years I'll be out of style, a few years I'll be in style.
Yeah, except all your old clothes you can't fit in anymore. So that's the problem. My was it last member jacket? I was the last member. Or members only jacket. That was it.
That last member.
That was the members only jacket Michael
Right,
Jackson
right.
used to wear. The one
Oh,
with the
my lord.
straps and zippers.
Holy jeez. Oh wow.
Hey, I won't let us play.
Yeah, I won't let you play pinball, right?
They'll
The
keep
first
us
time.
as pets.
All right, if we're lucky. If we're lucky.
Well, that's
I think he
all
wants
got
to
for-
date some of us. I mean, that's been the big thing lately. AI seems to want to get married very badly. Or at least get us all to cheat on our spouses with it. It's step one into world domination, I guess.
More coffee.
Ah, shit. Well, it's, wow, it's 4 o'clock. Holy crap. I think that's pretty much us. I want to wrap up here. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything to...
If anyone's got any last questions before we go, now is your time. Let's check on the raffle. Oh, yeah. Oh, my lord. If I had a brain. Well, we're good on that. So, yeah. Oh, we lost Randy already. So, I'm going to go to me.
That's where I'm going.
Ah. Oh, my lord. Let me get back to where I'm looking for. Thank you.
Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, Ren and Stimpy. All right. I will catch you all on the flip side as I toggle through all my different scenes. Thanks again for joining us, and I'll see you all on.
Forget the raffle.
I didn't.
Oh, you did it?
No. And I will catch you all coming Monday. And yeah. Until then, thanks again. Peace out.
Brain Games is now over.